inner sound meditation practice. Hazrat Inayat Khan of the Sufis once said, "The person who is in tune with the universe becomes like a radio receiver, through which the voice of the universe is transmitted." The following is from Julian P. Johnson's great spiritual classic, Path of the Masters. This creative current filling all space may be likened to the electromagnetic waves of the radio. The great creative current flows outwards and downwards to create, govern, and sustain all regions. It passes out from this region somewhat like the radio emanations going forth from a great broadcasting station. It is the audible life stream, the most important factor in the system of the Masters. This stream permeates the entire system of universes. A thing of great importance to us is that the music of this ever-flowing current, the stream of life, can be heard by a real master and also by his or her students who have advanced even a little on the path. This is from Sant Kripal Singh. The subject of Shabda, the sound current, is such that we cannot do justice to it by discursive reasoning. All that can be said is that Shabd or Shabad implies the power of God that has created and is sustaining the various grand divisions, and subdivisions of the vast creation of God. It is a current from the ocean of consciousness and is characterized by sound vibration, or in other words, it is a live and active principle which, emanating from God, is enlivening all creation. It is the instrument with which God creates, controls, and sustains his vast universe. It acts as a lifeline between the Creator and his creation, and serves as a golden bridge between the two. The divine currents, like the ethereal waves of a radio, are spread out in the atmosphere in all directions of the compass, giving out delectable strains of music. We, however, cannot catch the ethereal vibrations and listen to the divine melody until we get in tune with the infinite by adjusting our mental apparatus. Therefore, we become etherealized more and more as we come in tune with the heavenly music. Shabd, or the Word, is the connecting link between God and humanity, said Kripal Singh. The vibrations of this sound are too fine to be either audible or visible to the material eyes and ears, said Hazrat Inayat Khan. In his great spiritual classic, The Mysticism of Sound, Volume 2 of the Sufi Message series. Yet, as the masters and mystics often point out, there is another kind of hearing and another kind of seeing. The eyes and ears of the soul, the spiritual senses, can be developed. There is light coming from beyond the darkness, and there is music coming from beyond the silence. For those who have ears to hear, those who desire to meditate and uncover the wonders of inner space for themselves. This is from Huzur Maharaj Raisalagram, from Radhaswami Mat Prakash, a great spiritual classic of the Radhaswami tradition, which means light on the teachings of the Lord of the Soul, or Supreme Being, Radhaswami Mat Prakash. The sound heard internally is a current which has originally emanated from the Supreme Being, and is the means not only of concentrating the will, but also of raising the spirit entity or soul to the source from which it emanated. The method for taking back the spirit entity or soul to its supreme source is first to concentrate at the eye focus, the third eye center, and next to commence its journey homewards by attending to the internal sound, or in other words, by riding the life or sound current which has originally emanated from the Supreme Source, a passage from Radhaswami Mat Prakash by Hazur Maharaj Vaisalagram of the Radhaswami faith. Speaking of this yoga of the audible life stream, or the yoga of the word, the yoga of the logos, reversing the process, the soul tracing its steps back again to the Creator. Transcendental hearing, important points about inner sound meditation practice. One of the Sikh gurus, Guru Angad, in a verse of mystic poetry, put it this way: seeing without eyes, hearing without ears, walking without feet, working without hands, uttering God's name without tongue, and dying while living, is truly accepting God's will. This is from a guru in the Kabir Dharamdas lineage by the name of Prakash Mani Sahib, who said, "The eternal truth, Sat, or eternal word, is hidden in every being. Without the Sadguru, without the Master, it does not become known. That eternal sound is within everyone, but dormant. One has to awaken it with love, devotion, recitation of the name, and meditation. That sound is unceasing and unfathomable, and is full of bliss." This is from Edward Salim Michael, his great spiritual classic called The Law of Attention, Nada Yoga, or Sound Meditation and the Way of Inner Vigilance. When meditating with this nada, this inner mystic sound, it is essential that the devotee always seek and follow the particular aspect of it that is most subtle and ultra in pitch, as well as in brilliance. Even when the sound becomes very shrill and loud in moments of deep concentration, he or she must not be tempted to be satisfied with it merely because it is sharp and resonant. He should relentlessly attempt to rise further and further into ever more subtle spheres of its mysterious, invisible kingdom. Edward Salim Michael, a mystic of the inner sound. Kirpal Singh wrote in his book Spiritual Elixir, "You will have more sounds than one, but you have to stick to that of the big bell, a conch shell, thunder, drum beat, a violin, and the flute, which are the higher types of sounds, and leave the rest." That's an interesting sentence, giving you some idea of the sounds we're talking about here today when it comes to Surat Shabd Yoga. There are many possible inner sounds one could hear that are cricket-like sounds, humming sounds, and so on, but here Kirpal Singh identifies certain sounds that are more advanced, that will pull the soul further above, whereas other sounds might not do that. Big bell or ringing sound or ringing tone, conch shell, thunder, drums or drum beat, violin, and flute, or flute-like sounds, violin-like sounds, thunder-like sounds, bell-like sound. Not necessarily literally a bell, but something like a bell, something like thunder, something like a conch shell, a violin, or flute, in an altered state, meditative sort of way. Below is some material from Shiv Brat Lal, Maharishi Mehi, Swami Sant Sevi Ji, and Swami Vyasanand about inner sound meditation, useful points from rare writings of Sant Mat that may benefit some by providing detailed guidance about some aspect of this practice of Surat Shabd Yoga. That's why we're here. That's why I do this program, to make this lesser-known information available to those who need it in this ongoing radio satsang. Shiv Brat Lal, disciple of Hazur Maharaj Rai Salagram, once said, "Various sorts of sound currents reverberate in the human system from which the initiate has to pick up the right one and listen to it. Otherwise he will go astray and lose his equipoise. The practical guru forewarns his disciple and directs which sound to listen to and which one to discard. In Surat Shabd Yoga, we pay attention to certain sounds, as Kripal Singh mentioned. But there are other sounds too, and we don't really need to pay so much attention to those, the humming and the crickets and other lower sounds, in other words. Swami Vyasanand says only the central sound has the power to attract the consciousness to the center and carry the soul to the center of a higher realm. Other illusory material sounds do not have that magnetism to attract the consciousness to higher realms. So certain spiritual sounds pull the soul up, but other sounds that people may hear, quite often crickets are cited as one of those inner sounds, don't really do that. They may be supernatural, they may be coming from beyond the physical realm, but are lower kinds of sounds. So in other words, Surat Shabd Yoga is not just about hearing any old sound, but focusing on certain spiritual sounds in meditation, those sounds that have been identified as being productive to focus upon with our attention. Certain sounds that elevate the soul, that lead the soul further above. The masters teach that the world, indeed many realms, are illusion, and that on the inner planes there are many reflections or copies of higher realities. There are phenomena that can imitate or mimic spiritual experiences. There are even realms that to some extent might appear to be heavens or copies of Sachkhand, the spiritual realm. A hall of mirrors, a matrix, a labyrinth, astral flypaper. In this world, there is the illusion of a master, a meat-eating guru offering instruction and initiation, but also who says ethics don't matter. The illusion of having a spiritual teacher. You have a teacher, but they mislead you instead of lead you or provide the proper guidance. The illusion of a guru. There is the illusion of satsang, the illusion of enlightenment. One can stare at a bright light or contemplate the flame of a candle and then close one's eyes in a darkened room and continue to see a kind of photo-like retinal image of that candle. Some of you probably have done that in the past. An optical illusion of inner light is what that is. Some electronic devices and electrical appliances generate white noise, humming sounds, or high-frequency ringing tones and overtones. These, to some extent, can mimic inner spiritual sounds, the illusion of hearing the sound current. I've had that happen before. I was meditating once and heard this high-frequency tone, and then I realized it was coming from an old refrigerator I had at the time. not from within. So one must be